Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Dodger Stadium for the final game of the four-game series with the Cardinals. And for St. Louis, they are trying to turn back the clock. The last time the Cardinals swept a four-game series at Dodger Stadium was all the way back in 1968. Trying to stop that will be Chad Billingsley, who does not pitch well against St. Louis, 1-3 lifetime. And in direct contrast, the pitcher for the Cardinals is Chris Carpenter. He is not only 6-0 lifetime. In the other two starts where he had no decisions, the Cardinals scored 1 run or none. So it's an interesting set of numbers. We'll take a look at the ball game and a whole lot more coming up right after this. The movement at your local area Hyundai dealer. Buy Shakey's, win a pizza party for 10. Go to Shakey's.com. By CarMax. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. And by AT&T.
All right, getting you set for the finale, thank goodness, between the Cardinals and the Dodgers. Get these guys out of town with Steve Lyons and Patrick O'Neill, and you're going to take us through the Hyundai keys to the game. It's a lot to ask, considering Kemp is hitting .453 and Ethier's hitting .386, but you need these guys to continue to produce.
Yeah, and their numbers are outstanding, and their numbers would be even better if anybody around them was doing anything. You think of how many RBIs they'd have if guys on the front of the order were getting on, and if anybody did anything behind them, think how many RBIs those guys would have just driving these guys in. But today's an excellent day to see everybody in baseball who's leading the league. Kemp's leading the league in almost everything, and what he doesn't lead Colby Rasmus leads for the St. Louis Cardinals. And then you have Berkman, second in the league in home runs with 6. You're seeing a lot of offensive firepower in the lineups today. Ethier, 386, 13-game hitting streak, and as you mentioned earlier, 1 away from his 100th home run.
Yeah.
When is he going to hit that?
I think it's going to be today.
You
yeah.
say.
You know what? I like the offensive firepower, but what I want to see is some good pitching.
And a win?
A win and some good pitching. So hopefully it happens today. The form of Chad Billingsley slowing down the best offense in all of baseball, the St. Louis Cardinals. Vince Scully has the call next on Prime Ticket.
Trade up to Ford. And by Jack in the Box. Right now, get the All-American Jack Combo with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday afternoon to you, wherever you may be. We're at Dodger Stadium, where the Dodgers and Cardinals conclude a 4-game series, and where the St. Louis Cardinals have swept the first 3, and they're trying to go all the way today. The last time a Cardinal ball club won 4 straight in a series at Dodger Stadium was 1968. And how good was that club? Well, it not only won 4 straight here, it then went to San Francisco, led by Bob Gibson, and won 3 straight in San Francisco. That was the first time since the Dodgers had come to California and the Giants to San Francisco that a team had been perfect in the state, going 7 for 7. Those were the Big Birds of 68, a great club, and the future is out there in front of this club, and they're starting to really perk up. They've won 4 in a row. They're 6 of 9 on the road trip. They have Ryan Theriot at short, Colby Rasmus in center. Then you have Albert Pujols, Matt Holliday, Lance Berkman returns in right field, David Freese, Yadier Molina behind the plate. Daniel Descalso, who played third base in the first game, is at second, and Chris Carpenter on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Chad Billingsley, with a record of 1-3 lifetime against the Cardinals. He is 1-1 this year. One thing about Chad, he usually pitches very well in the daytime. His earned run average in the daytime is 3, and it's held up for 5 years. His first pitch outside and low to Ryan Theriot. 1 ball and no strikes. Billingsley ready to come right back, 1-0. Chad deals and it's fouled away. 1-1 to Terrio, hitting .323. A gorgeous summer's afternoon. 77 degrees here at Dodger Stadium when the first pitch was made. So Ryan Terrio doing a great job at shortstop. Here comes Billingsley 1-1 and gets it in there for a strike. Last night, Terrio had 2 singles and a double, although he was cut down twice on the base paths at third and home. And in the previous game, he had 1 hit, and before that, he had 2 hits. So he's had 6 hits in the series, fouls it back, and the count remains 1-2. So the Cardinals, who had been laboring and people in St. Louis were worrying about him, but they've made a pretty good move. They're tied for second, a game and a half back of the Reds. Now the 1-2 pitch on the way. Billingsley works low, the count 2-2. Since the start of the 2006 season, a 3.05 ERA in daytime. Last year, his earned run average in the day, 0.9. The next one to Terrio is off the plate, and the count goes all the way. So for the Cardinals, sitting back in the shade, the big boys, Pujols, Holiday, and company. There's a huge difference between these two teams. Tell you about it in a moment. 3-2, lifted foul off first. Loney coming over, it's doubtful, and he will not have a play. The Dodgers, like the Cardinals, have had quite a few runners in scoring position in the previous 3 games, but Mattingly's club is hitting .188, while the Cardinals, runners in scoring position, are hitting .415. Enough said. 3-2 to Terrio. Colby Rasmus on deck, and there's a one-hopper at short. Nice play by Jamie Carroll to stay with it and get him. So Terrio hits the ball right on the button. Jamie Carroll makes a fine short hop of the line drive. And with 1 out, Colby Rasmus coming up. For the Dodgers to get Terrio leading off, that's something, because the Cardinals have gotten 12 leadoff men aboard in the 3 games, and of the 12, 10 have come around to score. So they have an out in the first inning, and now here's Colby hitting .387, and he has a look at a pitch for a strike, and the count 0-1. Rasmus last night 1 for 4, lost a hit on a sliding catch by Tony Gwynn in shallow left field. The strike 1 pitch on the way low and inside. So Rasmus got a base hit in the 9th inning. So that gave him his 6th hit in 14 at bats. So he's been doing very well, especially hitting front of Albert Pujols. The 1-1 pitch foul back, and the count 1-2. As far as Chad Billingsley is concerned, in looking at his work, Rasmus just 1 for 6. Holiday 6 hits with 3 home runs against him, and Pujols just 3 for 15. Chad ready, and the 1-2 pitch on the way, and that's a little high with a fastball just above the letters. 2-2 the count. We have 1 out, first inning, no score. Billingsley trying to pick up his 2nd win and try to balance his books, but he's got a ways to go against the Cardinals. Rasmus swings, tied up, and down he goes on a good pitch in on the hands. So with 2 out in the first inning, the batter will be Albert Pujols. Pitch down and in, and Rasmus unable to extend, comes up empty, and here's Pujols. Albert had 2 singles last night, and he had 2 home runs the night before, and he had 1 home run the night before that. Hitting .254. He now has 4 home runs, 10 runs batted in. As we mentioned, Pujols has not done anything with Billingsley. Chad's fastball is low, ball 1. Albert is 3 for 15. No home runs. Struck out once. Right-hand hitter bends slightly at the knees and waist. Pulls that bat back of the right ear quietly. Swings and slices 1 foul. That'll carry back into the stands. 1-1 the count to Albert Pujols. On the horizon, due to be in starting tomorrow night for a 4-game series, it will be the Atlanta Braves. Tim Hudson against Ted Lilly. 1-1 pitch, popped in the air, foul behind the plate. Barajas, wearing shades, comes back, but it's well back in the crowd. And the count 1-2. Well, it's easy to understand a catcher wearing sunglasses at night. First time I ever saw a catcher wear what we would call today driving glasses, kind of a yellowish orange lens, was a catcher with Philadelphia many years ago named Stan Lopata. All right, the 1-2 pitch on the way. Pujols swings a lazy fly ball to right field. There's Albert going to first as Andre makes the catch, and that'll be that. Well, a nice inning for Billingsley, and at the end of half an inning, Cardinals nothing, Dodgers coming up. Here come the Dodgers now on the card filled out by Don Mattingly. Tony Gwynn in left, then Jamie Carroll at short, followed by Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp. Juan Uribe at third, James Loney at first, Rod Barajas the catcher, Aaron Miles at second base, Chad Billingsley on the mound. On the mound for the Cardinals, big Chris Carpenter, 6'6", about 230, 36 years old at the end of the month. And his first pitch to Tony Gwynn is high, ball one. First thing about him, well, he won the Cy Young Award in 2005, the 1-0 pitch off the plate. Secondly, he had Tommy John surgery, as we've mentioned. 3 of the 4 Cardinal starting pitchers have had Tommy John surgery. Chris had his 2007. Meanwhile, in the dugout, fellows like Jaime Garcia, he had it. Kyle McClellan had it, but Kyle Loesch is the one who did not. The next pitch in for a strike, and the count 3-1. Though Tony Gwynn hitting .286, trying to get something started. Back in the lineup in left field, Dodgers trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. Roller to the right side, Descalzo picks it up and throws him out. So Tony Gwynn, tapper to the right side, 1 away. Carpenter was pushed around in his last game in Arizona. Interestingly enough, anyone who has ever met Carpenter knows how tough-minded he is. He is not the type to ever come up with an excuse. But after the game in Arizona, he had one complaint, which he only told his pitching coach, Dave Duncan, and that was he felt the balls were not rubbed up properly. The first pitch to Jamie Carroll in for a strike. As you probably know, and it's been going on, it seems like forever, there's a special mud turned to dirt that comes from Delaware. Strike one pitch, low and inside. Now, normally, as we understand it, umpires always rub up the balls before a game. However, we also understand that's not necessarily true. The 1-1 pitch off the plate, ball 2. We understand that some of the umpires, I'm not saying this crew, I'm not really sure who, but we have heard stories that some umpires relegate the duties to maybe a clubhouse boy, pitch in for a strike to Carroll. And in that game, when Carpenter had trouble gripping the ball against Arizona, an Arizona relief pitcher, Patterson, a left-hander, he threw 4 or 5 balls out while he pitched. Ground ball to the left side, moving over is Terrio to make the play. So Carroll taps out to the other shortstop, and with 2 out in the first inning, the batter is Andre Ethier. Another thing about Chris Carpenter, we were telling you how well Chad Billingsley pitches in the daytime. Carpenter pitches even better in the daytime. The Big Chris, back in 2005, when he won the award, Cy Young Award, he was 21-5 and won 20 victories in 28 starts. Andre Ethier checks in, takes a strike. Andre hitting .386, and as you know, has extended his streak. He has hit safely in 13 in a row. His longest streak, he had a 16-game streak. Now the strike 1 pitch, foul back, 0-2. How are the Dodgers doing against Chris Carpenter? Well, Ethier doing well, .353. Barajas 3 for 8. Matt Kemp, however, just 2 for 12. He's on deck. 0-2 the count to Andre Ethier. Carpenter ready. Chris comes back and is promptly hit in the air to left center. On the dead run is Rasmus to pick it off. Nice play by the center fielder. Ethier losing a base hit, and the Dodgers go 1-2-3. And at the end of an inning, no score. Pitches set the Dodgers down in order, and we go to the second inning. No score in the ball game. Matt Holliday, who has 3 home runs against Billingsley, leads it off, and Matt takes a strike inside corner. Holliday always gives the Dodgers a bad time. He has 11 hits in 13. Check me on that. He has 6 hits in 13 at bats in the series. Strike 1 pitch on the way. Matt swings right through it, and the count 0-2. Last night, he had a walk and a single, hit one ball right on the screws to right center that was flagged by Andre Ethier. Night before, he had a single and a double, and in the first game, he had 2 doubles and a single. Strike 2 pitch, Holliday sprays it down the right field line in the corner. Over to get it is Ethier, and Matt jogs into second base with a double, so he continues to beat the Dodgers over the head. For Holiday, that would also be his 4th double. So that means he came here with no doubles, and he now has all 4 against the Dodgers. So Holiday at second base, nobody out, with Berkman, Freese, and Molina coming up in that order. Berkman has been off to a dazzling start. He has 6 home runs and 13 runs batted in. In the first game of the series against John Garland, he had 2 home runs. And the pitch in for a strike to Lance. 0-1 the count. Berkman, a .327 hitter, switch hitter, but he's really a hitter left-handed and a swinger right-handed. Strike 1 pitch, and that's above the eyes. 1 ball and 1 strike. To illustrate the point, Berkman comes in hitting .327. However, as a right-hand batter, 0 for 7. Lance waiting, bends over at the waist as he looks out at Billingsley, who looks back at Holiday. And the next pitch fouled away down to first. Dave McKay there to take care of it. Jose Aquindo over at third. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Down in the Cardinal dugout, one of the great managers of all time, Tony La Russa. 1-2 the count. Berkman followed by Freese. Billingsley delivers, and a breaking ball in the dirt, swung on and missed. Tag has to be missed and thrown to first, so Berkman strikes out. Play going 2-3. So second strikeout for Chad Billingsley. A fail to advance Holiday, so that's a bad at bat, especially for a left-hand batter. So with Holiday at second and 1 away, here is David Freese. Now remember, the Cardinals coming into this game were hitting .415 with a runner in scoring position. Freese, the third baseman, last night had a scoring fly ball, also had a base hit, and promptly lifts one foul off first down the line, well back into the crowd, and the count 0-1. Freese, the game before against Garland, had 3 hits and did not play in the first game, although he did appear as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning and had a base hit. So he's hitting a cool .370 with Holiday at second and 1 out, no score. Big pitch swung on and missed. 0-2 the count to David Freese. After this 4-game series, the Dodgers will not see the Cardinals again until they go to St. Louis August 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Here's the strike 2 pitch on the way. Billingsley ready and deals down and dirty. 1-2 the count. Last year it was interesting. All 7 games were won by the home team. Dodgers won all 3 here at Dodger Stadium, and the Cardinals won all 4 at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. So Tony's trying to turn it around, and he has won 3 straight here. 1-2 the count to David Freese. Holiday at second, 1 out, and the fastball lifted foul off to the right. Barajas comes over, but no play. When we talk about Tony La Russa being one of the great managers, he certainly has the numbers. He's had, among other things, over 1,300 wins. He's led his team to 8 division titles, 2 National League pennants, 10 World Championship titles. And he has already passed John McGraw in the number of games as a manager. 1-2 the count. Here comes Billingsley and works it low with a fastball, and the count 2-2. Tomorrow night, the Atlanta Braves coming in. Tim Hudson and Ted Lilly. Meanwhile, Chad Billingsley with a 1-1 record. Out of a stretch, a look back at Holiday, who doubled, and the pitch swung on and missed, and down goes Freese. Third strikeout for Chad Billingsley, and with 2 out, that will bring up Yadier Molina. Molina did not play last night, and in the game before, it was a memorable game for him. He had a perfect night. He had 4 hits and a walk. So Molina, in that one game, lifted his batting average up to 268. Prior to that game, he had a single and a double. Now the pitch to Yadier on the outside corner with a very slow breaking ball. 0-1 the count. Molina with 3 Gold Gloves consecutively in 2008, 9, and 10. One of 3 brothers, as you probably know if you follow the game closely. They all a fine catcher. The pitch inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. So the Cardinals with a 4-game winning streak. They're a game and a half back of the Reds. Dodgers with a 5-game losing streak. They're 5.5 back of Colorado. After 15 games. That's the big thought. Whether you're going very well or very poorly, 15 games out of 162 is not exactly able to sum up the season. 1-1 pitch on the way. Down and away. 2-1 the count to Molina. Daniel Descalso is on deck. Jose and Benji, also catchers. They played at one time with the Angels. Yadier, the youngest of the other 2. 2-1 to count. Out of his stretch goes Billingsley. Another look back at second. Fastball and a good one, swung on late and missed. And the count 2-2. So Billingsley surrendered the leadoff double to Matt Holliday. Turned right around to strike out Berkman and Freese. And he has Molina on the ropes. 2 balls and 2 strikes. No score, top of the second. Billingsley hides the ball back of his right hip. Now out of his stretch. Chad's 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. So he gives up a double and then promptly strikes out the side. 4 strikeouts for him at the end of an inning and a half. No score. As we go to the bottom of the second inning, no score in the ball game. Matt Kemp will lead it off. Matt, among other things, big fan of baseball. He has several framed and signed jerseys in his home, and he takes a fastball strike. Some of those jerseys signed by Ryan Howard, Ken Griffey, Matt Holliday, and Torrey Hunter, and of course his agent Dave Stewart. Strike 1 pitch on the way. Inside at the shins. 1 ball and 1 strike to Matt Kemp. Kemp followed by Uribe and Loney. And Matt off to a great start, 453, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs. Carpenter back, works it outside, and that runs the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Matt Kemp just 2 for 12 against Carpenter. Chris turns, ready, and the 6'6" right-hander delivers. Ground ball to short. The play by Terrio to first in time. And we have 1 away. And that'll bring up Juan Uribe.
Batting next, third baseman, number 5, Juan Uribe.
Chris Carpenter spent 6 years. They were injury-cursed seasons in Toronto. He was 1 game under 500 and an ERA of 4.8. Then he came over to St. Louis to work with Dave Duncan. In 2004, he had 15 victories, and then he won the Cy Young Award in 2005. He's low to Uribe, ball 1. And in the 2006 World Series, he worked 8 shutout innings. But there were so many injuries, and Uribe a bullet into center field for a base hit. So the Dodgers waiting for Uribe swing the bat, and he certainly did on that pitch. A line drive single to bring up James Loney. For Uribe, he was just 1 for 6 against Carpenter. Loney is just 2 for 14. So when you're struggling and then you're going up against a pitcher who has made you struggle in the past, I'm sure that was a sweet tasting base hit for Uribe. Now Loney will try to do the same. No score, bottom of the second. James hitting 158. Carpenter at the belt. Takes a look over and comes to his hitter away. Ball 1. 1-0. James trying to get on track, but again, the season just 15 games old. And he's had 2 years with 90 RBIs, 1 year with 80. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Carpenter watching Uribe. Back he comes high and away, ball 2. In 2007 and 8, and for that matter 9, he was just plagued by injuries. But in 2009, he was named the comeback player of the year. So it's been tough for the big guy, but he is exceptionally mentally tough. The pitch fouled away, 2-1. In 09, well, let's put it this way. The year before, because of injuries with the Cardinals, he was 0-1. And then in 09, he came back and he was 17-4, which is why he got the award. Last year, he was 16-9. Chris is from Exeter, New Hampshire, lives in Bedford, big Red Sox fan growing up. Loney, a fly ball to deep center. Rasmus going back, still on the grass, however, and makes the catch for the out. So Loney a long out. Back to first is Uribe, and Rod Barajas coming on. A reminder, May 1st, join the Dodgers. They celebrate the 30th anniversary of their 1981 World Series championship with a retro t-shirt giveaway, compliments of Hyundai, and enjoy pregame festivities that will honor players from the 81 team. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. Rod Barajas climbs in with Aaron Miles hitting back of him. 2 down, Uribe at first, and the pitch is on the outside corner at the knees, and the count 0-1. For Uribe, I'm sure he's not thinking about stealing bases because Chris Carpenter and Yadier Molina are a dynamite combination. Together, they have combined to get 63% of all the base runners. The pitch to Barajas is foul back. Carpenter is a major reason, no matter who catches. In all of his years since 1999, he has allowed 42 stolen bases. 71 would-be base runners have been caught. That's that 63% caught stealing, and that's incredible. Molina last year caught 49%. Strike 2 pitch on the way outside and low, 1-2. And of course, Uribe has never really been known as much of a base stealer anyway. But Carpenter is watching him as if he's Maury Wills, and he's being held on by Pujols. Last year, Uribe had all of one stolen base. Barajas way out in front of an off-speed pitch in the dirt. The out recorded at first, and that would be the first strikeout for Carpenter. So as Big Chris walks off at the end of 2, no score. Deposit checks from your smartphone with Quick Deposit. Take a step forward and chase what matters. And by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Third inning, no score in the ball game. Daniel Descalso, the second baseman, left-hand hitter, and takes one inside and down, ball 1. Remember last night, if you were watching or listening, about Clayton Kershaw? Not only the 111 pitches, this in for a strike, 1-1. We talked about the fact that Kershaw had only 8 swings and misses by the hitters, and he faced 24 batters. Only 8 swings and misses. 1-1 pitch, a little ground ball, big hopper to first. Loney gets to the bag in time. 1 away. Well, for Chad Billingsley, he has already gotten 7 after facing now 8 batters. Swings and misses. You'll never read or hear anything about that in the box score, but I'll bet you Clayton Kershaw could tell you about how it plagued him last night. All those foul balls. It helped to beat Tim Lincecum when the Dodgers were up in San Francisco. So we have 1 away, and here's Chris Carpenter. Carpenter is 0 for 6. Gives you that 6'6" big strikeout. Bends at the knees and waist a little bit. And Chris takes outside, ball 1. Carpenter, growing up, lived about 45 minutes from Fenway and followed Roger Clemens especially. The 1-0 pitch in for a strike, 1-1. Chris will be 36 on the 27th. Originally a first-round pick by Toronto, but it was an unhappy experience for him with the Blue Jays. Takes a strike. 1-2 the count. He was a teammate of Roger Clemens with the Blue Jays and works out a great deal like Roger. Not exactly, but nevertheless a great work ethic. The next pitch down and away. When Chris won the National League Cy Young Award in 2005, he became the first Cardinal pitcher since Bob Gibson to do it way back in 1970. Chris takes a look, and that misses. Ball 3. He had to beat out Dontrell Willis in 05. Now the 3-2 pitch to Chris Carpenter with 1 out, 3rd inning, no score. Billingsley ready, here he comes, and it's low, ball 4. So after getting most of the hitters with the exception of the double for Holiday, he walks the pitcher, and the batter will be Ryan Theriot. Ryan Theriot hit the ball sharply, a 1-hopper, and it was a nice play for Jamie Carroll. Theriot is a good hitter. We emphasize good because the 1 year he was with the Dodgers turned out to be an off year. He hit only .242. That's probably 40-50 points below his career average. Shows bunt and drops a dandy foul. 0-1 the count. Ryan from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the pride of LSU. Came up to the Cubs in 05, stayed with them until last year. In 96 games with the Cubs, he hit .284. That's more like him. Then the 54 games with the Dodgers, he hit only .242. Strike 1 pitch to Ryan Theriot is taken inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. We're in the top of the 3rd, no score in the ball game. Chad Billingsley and Chris Carpenter. Billingsley trying to make a move this year. Won 16 games, but then the next 2 years, the identical record of 12-11. The 1-1 pitch misses inside. Ball 2. 2-1 to Ryan Theriot. Checks with Oquendo to see if there might be a hit and run play, although you certainly wouldn't expect the pitcher to be going. We'll see with 1 out. Theriot is hitting .400 on the road trip, and this is the 10th game of the trip. Cardinals have won 6 out of 9. And the pitch to Theriot, ground ball up the middle. On the bag is Carroll, easily doubling Theriot, and that's that. So no runs, no hit, nobody left. And at the end of 2.5 innings, no score. Miles, Chad Billingsley, and then Tony Gwynn. So Billingsley out on deck waiting as Miles checks in. Aaron, a switch hitter, batting left-handed. And Carpenter works him down and away. Ball 1. 1-0. Miles hitting .214. 2 RBIs. Carpenter turns, ready. Big guy comes back with a fastball grounded to third, backhanded by Freeze to throw him out. So one away here in the third inning. Chad Billingsley coming up.
Now batting, pitcher number 58.
Chris
Chad
Carpenter,
Billingsley.
we were mentioning earlier that when he got the Cy Young Award, he won 20 games in only 28 starts. The best in Cardinal history, of course, Dizzy Dean won 20 games in 23 starts on his way to a record of 30-7. 0-1 the count. Billingsley takes a little high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Another thing about Chris Carpenter is how successful he has been on the road. The 1-1 pitch, Billingsley takes off the plate. In his career, Carpenter 61 and 33. That's a winning percentage of .649. That's brilliant. Ground ball to short. Right there is Theriot. Plenty of time to throw him out. 2 out, third inning, and Tony Gwynn will consume a little time to let Billingsley get back to the dugout. You know, for every weekday afternoon game this year, Dodgers offer half price on food and soft drinks. Plus, you can watch the Dodgers in throwback Brooklyn era uniforms. The first half price day, Thursday at 12:10. That would be with Atlanta. So to secure your tickets, call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com/throwback. The batter now, Tony Gwynn, rounded out in the first inning. That was an electric blue satin uniform the Dodgers wore back then. Pitch to Gwynn low and inside. They wore white satin uniforms when they were at home. And under the lights, you can just imagine how those uniforms shimmered. 1 ball and no strikes. Ground ball to short, to his left to gobble is Theriot, only to drop the ball. And Gwynn is safely aboard. And there'll be an E6 flashing in a minute. The Carpenter will have to work out of a stretch against Jamie Carroll. Error to Ryan Theriot. Gobbles it up and has it get away. For Theriot, that would be his 5th error this year. Jamie Carroll grounded to Theriot in the first inning. No score, bottom of the third. Carroll hitting .340, trying to hold down shortstop till Rafael Furcal heals. The guess was when he broke his thumb in San Francisco stealing third that Rafael would be out 4 to 6 weeks. Dodgers played in San Francisco up to the 13th of April. The pitch now to Carroll. Line drive off the backhanded attempt of Pujols. Stopping at first is Carroll, and over to third goes Gwynn. So Jamie Carroll hit a low line drive, no doubt had some English on it. Pujols went to backhand the ball, and it just spun away, and we'll wait for the scoring. Kind of a Pujols shot. Looked like Albert could make the play, couldn't handle it, and because of the English on the ball, it will go as a base hit. So that would be hit number 2 for the Dodgers against Carpenter. First and third, and Andre Ethier with a 13-game hitting streak checking in. Ethier a long out to Colby Rasmussen left center, first time up. Andre is 6 for 18, hitting .333 against Carpenter, .379 against the lead. Chris deals, and it wrinkles in there for a strike, and the count 0-1. So Carpenter, because of the error by Theriot, has to work a little harder. First and third, 2 out. Carpenter again at the belt. And the strike 1 pitch off speed for a strike, 0-2. It was 11 years ago in September. Chris Carpenter, who's been unlucky, plagued by injuries, he was struck by a line drive off the bat of Jose Valentin. He had a swollen right cheek, 18 stitches inside his mouth. Never saw the ball, he said. Here's the strike 2 pitch to Ethier. Chris's breaking ball is slapped down the left field line, going foul and out of play. So it's still 0-2. So Chris Carpenter has really been unbelievable when you go through his medical history. Everything seemed to go wrong with the Blue Jays. That's one of the times with the Blue Jays when he got it in the mouth. But I mean, it is a laundry list that led up eventually in July of 2007 to the Tommy John surgery. Strike 2 pitch, a fake and a look, nothing else. Carpenter has the respect and admiration of his teammates, and he was even plagued this spring. He injured his left hamstring, had to be sidelined for about 3 weeks, the 1st of March. Here's the strike 2 pitch on the way, and Ethier swings, fouls it away. So Carpenter at 6'6" and 230, you would think he is indestructible, but when you look at his history, he has been a survivor. 0-2 the count. Ethier with 2 out and runners at the corners, and Matt Kemp on deck. Carpenter working from the first base side of the rubber. Carroll at first. Gwynn down the line from third. And the strike 2 pitch pulled on the line, snared by Pujols. So Albert Pujols takes an extra base hit away from Andre Ethier. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. And at the end of 3, no score. Ticket is brought to you by El Pollo Loco. Try our delicious Baja-style fish tacos with classic Baja or spicy avocado sauce. Only at El Pollo Loco. By Corona. And by Time Warner Cable. 4th inning, no score in the ball game. Colby Rasmus leads off. Ground ball right side on the grass is Miles to throw him out. So Colby doesn't hang around much. Goes down 1 away. You know, in the 1st inning, the Cardinals went out in order. Terrio grounded out. Rasmus struck out. Pujols flied out. That was only the 5th time in the 4 games that they went out in order. And, of course, they scored 9 in the 1st game, 9 in the 2nd game, for good measure, 11 last night, or the night before. So they come in here with 29 runs in 3 games. Albert takes a strike, and the count 0-1 to Pujols. Hitting .250. Billingsley ready. Chad comes back. Ground ball hard to third, but a nice hop there for Uribe, who throws him out. 2 down in the 4th inning.
Coming to the plate, left fielder number 7, Matt Holliday.
Matt Holliday has the Cardinal hit. lined a double down inside the right field corner in the second inning. Holliday underwent that appendectomy April 1, and 9 days later he was playing and scored a run. Matt batting .406 and takes a strike. 0-1. Hitting back of Holliday, Lance Berkman. And in again. 0-2 the count to Matt Holliday. Holliday on this road trip came into the game hitting .333. 0-2. A slip pitch, a changeup. That was not by design, I don't believe. Got up there, 59 on the hourglass. 1-2. Now a breaking ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Holliday, with a base hit his first time up, is hitting better than .350 against the Dodgers in his career. But he has never hit very much here, about .250. Fouled away. Matt at Dodger Stadium in this series had 3 hits Thursday night. He had a 3 RBI game here. That'll be career high for him against the Dodgers. Ball 3. So Billingsley working very carefully to Matt Holliday, who has hit safely in 8 of his last 9 games. Three and 2. Outfield very deep. About as deep as you'll see them play anybody. Three and 2. Taken for ball 4. So Holliday gets a 2-out walk.
How about it? Right fielder, number 12.
Second
Lance
walk
Berkman.
given up by Billingsley. The other one came against Chris Carpenter, the pitcher. So here's Lance Berkman. Berkman struck out his first at bat. Facing Billingsley, Berkman is 2 for 16. Lance batting .328 with a half a dozen home runs, 13 runs batted in. Ball 1, 1-0. Berkman on the road trip hitting .345 and all 6 home runs, all 13 RBIs on the road. Friday night here with 2 home runs. It was his 27th multi-home run game in his career. One ball and no strikes. No score. 2 out. Holliday at first in the 4th inning. And a little low. Ball 2. 2-0. Holliday over there at first has a lot going, but he does not have any speed. Last year, when sound, he stole 9. The year before, only 2. But a few years ago, being the great all-around athlete that he is, with the Rockies, he had his major league high in stolen bases when he stole 28. Not been running well in this series. 2-1 pitch is low. Ball 3. So pitching very carefully after getting Rasmus early in the count, and the same with Pujols. He walked very carefully with Holliday. Now 3-1 the count to Berkman, who is certainly capable of hitting 1 out. Billingsley delivers, swung on and missed. Good fastball in on the hands at 90. 3-2 the count. Lance Berkman out of Texas. Had some huge years with the Houston Astros. Plays right field for the Cardinals. Spent a career at first base. There goes Holliday. The pitch is strike 3 called. Berkman was on his way to first base. So down go the Cardinals, leaving Holliday. And at the end of 3.5 innings, no score. In 3 pitches to retire Colby Rasmus and Albert Pujols, but he had to make 13 pitches to finally finish off the inning since he walked Holliday and then had a pretty good battle with Berkman. For the Dodgers, Matt Kemp has started off, and strike 1. Kemp, Uribe, and Loney. Matt grounded to short in the 2nd inning. Very light breeze blowing out to right field. Breaking ball, line to left, coming up for it and playing it on a hop is Holliday. So Matt Kemp hit that solidly into left field for a base hit, and the batter is Juan Uribe. So Kemp at first base, and Matt got all of it. Line drive, a bullet into left. So here's Uribe now trying to move Kemp around, and of course you have Kemp, a fine base stealer. We've already told you about the tremendous combination, Carpenter and Yadier Molina, and the pitch to Uribe in for a strike. So this is a battle inside the WAR for sure. No score, bottom of the 4th. Kemp held on by Pujols. Uribe taking a look at Wallach before getting back up. Carpenter back to the plate. Big swing. Every Uribe swing is a big swing. 0-2 the count. Swinging from the heels has not paid off. He has struck out 13 times. Barajas 14 times. Jamie Carroll and Andre Ethier 11 times. 0-2. Down he goes. So Uribe fails to make contact, and with 1 out, the batter is James Loney. For Chris Carpenter, that would be his 2nd strikeout. Just kept the ball away, and Uribe just flailed at it. It really wasn't much of a swing. No score. One out, bottom of the fourth. Loney flied to center in the second inning. Kemp inching off the bag at first, but it's not a daring lead. Little foul ball. 0-1 the count. So today, Billingsley, who pitches well in the daytime, a little more than an earned run average of 3, and Carpenter in the daytime is under 3. So it figured to be a pretty tough ball game in a pitching duel, and so far so good. Throw to first, Kemp diving back. 0-1 to Loney. Rod Barajas waiting on deck. Kemp faking, fakes again. The pitch missed at the plate. 0-2 the count. So Matt trying to shake up Carpenter. 2 pretty good fakes before the pitch. But this is really some combination to fight, Carpenter and Molina. Molina looks over to see if they want him perhaps pitch out. 0-2 the count to Kemp. Loney asking for time. Oh, 2. Breaking ball, fly ball to center. Colby Rasmus right there to make the catch. So Kemp still at first with 2 out, and the batter will be Rod Barajas.
Coming to the plate, catcher.
So for
28,
Kemp,
Rod Barajas.
with less than 2 outs, you didn't figure he'd try to steal, but now with 2 out, no score, Matt, if he can get an opening, might try. So we'll be watching Molina and Carpenter while they're watching Kemp. Rod Barajas struck out in the second inning. Rod's 0 for 1. Chris Carpenter in the daytime, his earned run average is 2.9, a hair better than Billingsley. Pitch out, sure enough, ball 1. That winning percentage in the daytime for Carpenter is .675 because he's won 27 and lost 13 in the light. 1 ball and no strikes to Barajas. Kemp is not going, and that's ball 2, and Carpenter's probably pitching with one eye on Matt. Tony La Russa sending some message out to Molina. 2-0. Kemp goes. Pitch is taken outside. The throw is down there waiting for him. Wow. Molina, who shoots him down with remarkable frequency, and with Carpenter helping out, the Dodgers come up empty here in the 4th inning. Molina just threw a dart down there for the tag, and at the end of 4, no score. Descalso coming up. Interesting battle within the WAR with Carpenter and Molina against Matt Kemp. Carpenter made 11 pitches in the 4th inning. Kemp did not try to steal until the 9th pitch after he had reached first base. Ball 1. Freese struck out in the 2nd inning, hitting .362. The Cardinals have really fattened up here. Their team batting average coming into today's game, .298. Strike. The Dodger team batting average, .251. So the Cardinals hitting 47 points higher than the Dodgers as a team. 1-1. Foul back. Also, in all their games, the Dodgers have managed to score 50 runs in 15 games. The Cardinals 87 runs in 15 games. 1 ball and 2 strikes. No score in the 5th. Sliced foul, out of play. 1-2. The Atlanta Braves will be here starting tomorrow night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights, Thursday afternoon at 12:10, and then the Dodgers go out on the road to Chicago and Florida. When they come home, they'll play San Diego and the Cubs. Another foul ball, still 1-2. No runs, 1 hit for the Cardinals. That was a double to right, opening up the 2nd inning, hit by Matt Holliday. The Dodgers have 3 hits, single by Uribe in the 2nd inning, single by Carroll off Pujols' glove in the 3rd, and a line single by Kemp in the 4th. That's it. Dodgers actually have 1 man at 3rd base. That was Gwynn, but he failed to score. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And down goes Freese, striking out a 2nd time. So Billingsley, on a strikeout tear, is now struck out 6. Well, time for our trivia question of the day, and here it is. Who holds the Dodger record for the longest hitting streak? You know, Ethier has 13. Ethier in his career had a 16-game streak, but who holds the longest? Tell you in a bit. Here's Molina, struck out in the 2nd inning. 1 ball, no strikes. Molina batting .262 with 5 runs batted in. On the corner, 1-1. Drops that breaking ball in there nicely at 71 miles an hour. Tomorrow night, Tim Hudson, Ted Lilly. Game 1 of the 4 with Atlanta. And that's popped in the air right side. Fighting the glare is Aaron Miles, and makes the play. So Molina pops it up, 2 down in the 5th, and Daniel Descalso coming up. The Atlanta Braves, fresh from sweeping a doubleheader against the Mets, so they'll be coming in here breathing fire. Meanwhile, Daniel Descalso grounded out in the 3rd inning. First ball swinging, fouls it off. Descalso played 3rd base in the first game of the series. He's out of San Carlos, went to the University of California, Davis. 1-1. Dan 5'10", 190. 24 years old. He won't be 25 until the middle of October. 1-1. And fly ball to center. Matt Kemp is there. And that'll be that. Cardinals go meekly in the 5th. And at the end of 4 1/2, no score. So well in the daytime, though we're no score, bottom of the 5th. Bottom 3 of the Dodger lineup, that would be Rod Barajas, Aaron Miles, and Chad Billingsley. So Carpenter ready to go to work. And Barajas, who struck out in the 2nd inning, left at the plate when Kemp was thrown out stealing in the 4th, and that's a strike. 0-1. You figure you're going to see a pretty good ball game when Carpenter is pitching. Strike 1 pitch, another beauty off speed in the high 70s. Carpenter, to illustrate the point, was first in the league last year in quality starts. He made 25 of them. The strike 2 pitch, a big pop fly to shortstop. Terrio looking up into that powder blue. 1 away. Quality start,
Coming to the plate,
allowing
second baseman,
3 runs or
Aaron
less
Miles.
in 6 innings at least. And that was Carpenter. So 1 away. Aaron Miles lost a hit. Nice play by David Freese in the 3rd inning. One thing that Chris Carpenter, I believe, has finally succeeded in doing, surviving all the injuries, comeback player of the year, Cy Young award, maybe the toughest battle that Carpenter has had is getting rid of chewing tobacco. Looks like he might be working on gum, but he was really having a bad time with chewing tobacco. And a flare and a drop for the base hit. So Miles, a 1-out flare single to center, and that'll bring up Chad Billingsley. Yeah, Carpenter tried everything, and finally, if I understand it correctly, the thing that got him over the hump to get rid of chewing tobacco, acupuncture. So he's a gum chewer now. He has a runner at first with 1 out. The Cardinals think maybe Billingsley will be bunting. Pujols looks over to see if they want him to come to the plate or would they rather hold Miles. And right now he's on the bag. Billingsley shows bunt, fouls it at the plate. 0-1. Early in the year, Chad does not have a sacrifice yet. Somewhere along the line, Wallach is telling Billingsley. Tony Gwynn waiting on deck. 0-1. Pull the bat back. No bunt. 1 ball and 1 strike. No runs. 1 hit for the Cardinals. A clean double to right by Matt Holliday. No runs. 4 hits for the Dodgers. Only 1 man has gotten to third base, and that was Gwynn in the 3rd inning, but he stayed there. The bunt is missed. 1-2 the count. Chad taking a long look at Wallach. So is Aaron Miles. One and 2. Off the plate. Billingsley wisely not going after it. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Carpenter and Billingsley really locked into a dandy here. Freese ready to charge the plate from third. Billingsley showing bunt, but they throw to first. Try to take a step away from Miles. So this ought to be around the plate if Carpenter has his way. He doesn't want to go 3-2. So 2-2 to Billingsley. And not bunting, and a full swing foul. So the Dodgers take the bunt off, and Billingsley will check again. Two balls and 2 strikes. Chad showing bunt, and it turns him around. 3-2. So now there are a couple of decisions with 2 strikes. Do you want Billingsley to try to bunt? And what about 3-2? Do you run Miles? So Mattingly has to make them. Can't stop and figure it out and say, well, I might have. This is what he's going to do. Miles off the bag. He is not going, and the bunt is down, and Molina has to play the ball to first. So after all of that, Billingsley fulfills his assignment and advances Aaron Miles to second base. So 2 out. We have time to answer the trivia question: who holds the Dodger record for longest hitting streak? Do you know? You're right. Willie Davis, the 3 Dog. He had a 31-game hitting streak in 1969. Boy, he was fun to watch. All right, the leadoff man, Tony Gwynn, now grounded out, reached on Terry Ozera, and is the only man to get to third. But it's no score here in the 5th, trying to pick up Aaron Miles. In there for a strike, 0-1. So Billingsley did his best shot. It took 7 pitches to get him. No balls, 1 strike. Miles taking his lead. With Gwynn up there, Miles really only has to contend with Terrio, the shortstop, because Descalso is out on the grass in second base. Oh, and 2 the count, 2 down, bottom of the 5th, no score. And a little ground foul. Still 0-2. Last year, the combination of Carpenter and Molina caught 9 base runners trying to steal. Today, the Dodgers tried the combination, and it was not wanting, as Kemp tried to steal, and they nailed him. 1-2 the count. Carpenter has always had a better record on the road than at home. In his career, percentage of .582 with 64 wins. On the road, .645 with 69 wins. And he's always been very good in April. 1-2 pitch. 2-2. No runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit for the Cardinals. Miles at second with Terrio right behind him. 2-2. Ball 3. So Carpenter working so carefully when 3-2 with Billingsley. Now 3-2 with Quinn, and Jamie Carroll waits on deck. Miles out there waiting, hoping. Quinn hitting .270. Little ground ball to Terrio. Up with it. Gets it. And the Dodgers leave Miles at second base. So at the end of 5, no score. Batters in 1 inning. Pass ball by Johnny Roosevelt, and that's why he had to strike out 4. And only 5 days earlier, Pete Rickard, Dodger left-hander, struck out 4 in an inning against the Cincinnati Reds. Let's go back to this one. Tough ball game, push and shove here today. And that's a strike to Chris Carpenter. Carpenter, followed by Terrio, and then Rasmus. Chris, being around as long as he has been, has had a lot of at-bats. In fact, there's only one pitcher around who has had more at-bat appearances. That would be Roy Halladay. 0-2. Now much of an at-bat, down he goes. That's 7 strikeouts for Chad Billingsley. And with 1 out, the batter will be Ryan Terrio.
Shortstop number 3, Ryan Terrio.
Billingsley, you may remember, 2 years ago, wasn't that long, he had a 9-game winning streak here, going 9-0, and a brilliant earned run average during that streak of 1.9. So he has always pitched well, and especially on the road or at home in the daytime. Right. Terrio grounded to short, hit into a double play. Atlanta will be coming in tomorrow night. They just lost to the Mets 3-2. The Mets ending their 7-game losing streak. And they beat Tommy Hanson in Atlanta. Frankie Rodriguez saved it. So the Braves struggling a little bit. They're 7-9. The Dodgers right now are 6-9. Ted Lilly will be on the mound tomorrow night against Tim Hudson. Dodgers had another painful experience in the 5th inning. They sacrificed Miles to second base, but Gwynn grounded out. So the Dodgers, with runners in scoring position in this series, a horrific 171 batting average. Fouled away. 1-2 to Ryan Theriot. Colby Rasmus on deck. One and two the count. One away. We're in the 6th inning. No score. Fastball to drive him off the plate. 2-2. Chad 0-1 against the Cardinals last year. 1-3 lifetime. And down goes Theriot. So that's 8 strikeouts for Chad Billingsley in 5 2/3 innings. And it brings up Colby Rasmus. You know, you can follow the Dodgers with MLB.com at bat 11. That's the app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, etc. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Dodgers.com. Rasmus struck out, grounded out. Has been hitting very early in the count. If it's around the plate, he's after it. 0-1 the count. Colby hitting .375. Very impressive throughout the series. On deck, Albert Pujols. Fastball in there. Billingsley with 8 strikeouts. His high in the big leagues, 13. He's done that twice. 1-2. Last time that he had 13 would be September of last year in Arizona. One and two. And strike 3 called. Off speed, 9 strikeouts for Chad Billingsley. And we played 5.5 innings, no score. In the 4th inning on Matt Kemp, trying to defeat Carpenter and Molina, who makes the great throw. and Kemp is dusted off. Second time that Matt has been caught stealing. He's 7 for 9. But for Molina and Carpenter together, absolutely dynamite. In the 6th inning, Carroll, Ethier, and Kemp in that order. And ball 1. Carroll grounded to short, singled off the glove of Albert Pujols. In there. Billingsley in the top of the 6th inning made 13 pitches, going 0-2 on all 3 hitters. One and 2. Carpenter has been getting outs, but he has not been striking out people. Chris has 2 strikeouts compared to Billingsley's 9, but with no score. Chad watching. 1 and 2. Tapped on the ground to the right side to Descalso. Close play because of Carroll's hustle down the line. Descalso almost threw it away. Sitting quietly, and you can read his thoughts how badly he wants to be out there playing. But as we said, he broke the thumb back around the 12th of April. So we got a ways to go. 4 to 6 weeks, they said, before he'd be able to play. So Rafael for a call. They also serve who only sit and wait. Here's Ethier. Change, ball 1. Ethier a long out to center, and with a runner at third, hit a bullet, but right at Albert Pujols in the 3rd inning. So his streak is still there at 13. 2-0. Andre hitting .373, home run, 7 runs batted in. That's a strike. 2-1. 1 away for 100 home runs in his career. And Carpenter trying to stifle him here. Fastball fouled away. 2-2. Matt Kemp on deck. Dodgers no runs, 4 hits. They've left 5. 2-2. And down he goes. Location got him. I think Andre was expecting something more inside, and it was away. So Carpenter takes care of him with a very good, well thought out pitch. And the batter is Matt Kemp. Of course, when you're facing Carpenter, who's been pitching in the big leagues since 1997, you can expect a lot of well thought out pitches. Matt Kemp grounded to short, single to left. That's a strike. 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. I didn't drop a name. I dropped the headset. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs, 6th inning. No runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit, a double by Matt Holliday for the Cardinals. Matt really trying for a long ball at times, swinging from the heels. 1-2. Carpenter, by the way, coming into the game, had allowed 3 home runs. 1-2. And a little tapper fouled the other way. That was that pitch away that got Ethier. Kemp just did stay alive, getting a piece of it going by. Only one man has gotten to third base, and that was Tony Gwynn back in the 3rd inning. 1-2. Fastball slapped inside out to right field. Matt Kemp is really doing that very, very well. So he comes up with a line drive single the other way, and that'll bring up Juan Uribe. Down and really ball out of the zone, and he still was able to hit it inside out. So Matt Kemp is 2 for 3. Dodgers have 5 hits, nothing to show for it. And now the batter is Juan Uribe. And with 2 out the last time, Kemp tried to steal and was nailed. And remember, he didn't go until the 11th pitch. Uribe, coming out of his shoes, fouls it back. Juan singled to center and struck out. 1 for 2. No runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit for the Cardinals. One and one. Carpenter and Uribe. Uribe was 1 for 6. Now he is 2 for 8 against Chris. Pull foul. That was up and off speed. That's why he pulled it so much. It was only 75 miles an hour. Well, Carpenter makes the pitch to put Uribe in a hole. 1-2. No score. Bottom of the 6th inning. With 2 out, Kemp singles and Uribe up there 1-2. Slap foul off to the right. Still 1-2 to Uribe. Carpenter not overpowering people. He struck out Barajas in the 2nd inning. He struck out Uribe in the 4th. And he got Andre Ethier here in the 6th. So he has 3 strikeouts compared to Billingsley, who has struck out the side twice and has 9. And down goes Uribe on a pitch way up and in. And he strikes out a 2nd time. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. And at the end of 6, no score. West Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. And by 20th Century Fox's new movie, Rio, a movie that'll bring the world to its feet. Now playing in theaters. We've arrived at the 7th inning. No score in the ball game with Pujols, Holiday, and Berkman. So this figures to be a big challenge for Chad Billingsley. He has struck out 9, striking out the side twice. Pujols has flied to right, grounded to third, and he has the count his way now 2-0. We told you that Billingsley has struck out 13 as a high. First time he did it was here at Dodger Stadium, and it was a day game. Ball 3. Struck out 13 Marlins that day. Three and 0 in there. Pujols 4 home runs, 10 runs batted in, hitting .246. Ground ball at the other end of it, Aaron Miles. That was the problem that Pujols had earlier in the year. He was hitting so many ground balls, they were very worried. Then he started hitting, got 4 home runs, but today 0 for 3 with 2 ground balls. Here's the way the starters stack up in this great duel. Billingsley now with 1 out in the 7th, and you can match them up. So now Holiday, the proud possessor of the only hit. He now has the only 2 hits. First ball swinging, a single to left field. Watching Rod Barajas walk away from home plate, watching Billingsley leave the mound, I'm not sure if that meant that they were disagreeing on the pitch or maybe the location, but when that ball was hit, interesting. Watch this, if we have it. There's the base hit. Watch Barajas. He walks away. Oh my gosh! And Billingsley walks the other way, saying, "Oh goodness!" And there you go. So a 1-out single to Holiday, and here's Lance Berkman. Something was wrong on that pitch to Holiday. Ball 1. Berkman struck out twice. Holiday held on with 1 out. David Freese on deck. And that's whacked to right center. Geithier coming over and catches up to it. Hurries the ball back towards the infield, but back to the bag is Berkman. Boy, when that ball was hit, as Berkman goes back to the dugout, you thought Lance had broken it up. Instead, Ethier got a good jump and was able to grab it on the dead run right there, and Holiday holding it first. So 2 out in the 7th, and David Freese the batter. No score. Dodgers will have Loney, Barajas, and Miles in the bottom half of the 7th. Good fastball. 0-1. Billingsley pitching very carefully. Walked Holiday back in the 4th inning. He also walked the pitcher Carpenter. Those were his 2 walks to go with his 9 strikeouts. Throwing hard still in the middle 90s. No runs, 2 hits. Matt Holliday has both of them. Dodgers no runs, 5 hits. Matt Kemp has 2 singles. No balls, 2 strikes. Freese has struck out twice. Make it 3 times. So that's 10 strikeouts for Chad Billingsley. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. The end of 6.5, no score. And the crowd now will ask to stand for God Bless America and then take me out to the ball game.
Ladies and gentlemen, Please rise and join in the singing of God Bless America. Performed today by pop recording artist Ashley Keating.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Ashley.
The seventh inning, old-fashioned pitching duel. Chad Billingsley, Chris Carpenter. They came in here with the records, both excelling in the daytime, and boy, they put on a show. Billingsley now has made 102 pitches, and he has struck out 10. Carpenter has made 90 pitches, and that's ball one to Loney. James twice hitting fly balls to center field. We've had only one man in the game get to third base. That was Tony Gwynn back in the third inning. 1-1 to Loney. Fouled away. 1-2. Carpenter will work Loney, Barajas, Miles, and then Billingsley spotted. Another foul ball. Bottom part of the lineup, Loney, Barajas, Miles, and Billingsley. One hit, and that was a single to center by Aaron Miles. One and two. Last year, Loney had 41 multi-hit games. Breaking ball got him. James thought it was high, and then it dipped down and into the zone. Angel Hernandez rings him up. That's 5 strikeouts for Chris Carpenter. You know, Tuesday the Dodgers commemorate the 30th anniversary of Fernando Mania with a Fernando Valenzuela fleece blanket presented by Time Warner Cable. So go to Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. So 3 of the last 4 Dodger hitters have struck out. Ethier, Uribe, and now Loney. Rod Barajas, 1 ball and no strikes. And high and tight. Boy, that was really close. In fact, Rod thinks it got him on the arm. In fact, he knows it got him on the arm, but plate umpire didn't see it. Up and in. Just did get the left arm and hand out of the way. Two balls and no strikes. I remember in the old days the Cardinals had a pitcher named Jerry Staley. He was a dandy, right-handed, threw hard. And he would face the Dodgers, Snyder, Reese, Ferrillo, Campanella, Robbins. He'd knock everybody down. He'd just go through the lineup. 3-0. In there. Carpenter now has reached 100 pitches. Billingsley made 102. 3-2 the count to Rod Barajas. Carpenter is looking for his first win of the year. He is 0-2, but remember, he's a perfect 6-0 in his career against the Dodgers. The other 2 starts, he had nothing to do with it because the Cardinals got 1 run or no runs. Barajas, ground ball to Terrio's left. 2 down. And the batter will be Aaron Miles.
For the Dodgers, second baseman, Aaron Miles.
Miles hit the ball sharply to David Freese at third. And then last time up, a little flare that dropped into center for a base hit. So 2 outs, 7th inning, no score. Dodgers no runs, 5 hits. Cardinals no runs, 2 hits. Both hits for Matt Holliday. Fouled away. Marcus Thames comes out on deck to loosen up if Miles gets aboard. Obviously, they would hit for Billingsley. Turned in his best game of the year so far. 0-1. 0-2. The Cardinals will have Molina, Descalso, and we'll see about Carpenter batting in the 8th inning. No score. Matt Guerrier is up in the Dodger bullpen. No balls and 2 strikes. And a good breaking ball. That's 6 strikeouts for Carpenter. Dodgers go out in order. And at the end of 7 very tough innings, no score. They might have batted for Chad Billingsley, but since Miles struck out, the inning ended. Chad will go back out there. Chad with 10 strikeouts, and as we mentioned, he's had 13 twice in his career, and he'll be going now with Molina, Descalso, and we'll see about Carpenter. They get somebody up, a right-hander in the Cardinal bullpen, so perhaps Tony is thinking about a hitter. We'll see. Down in the pen, Mitchell Boggs, whom we saw earlier in the series, begins to loosen up. Molina has struck out and popped up. Breaking ball misses. 2-0 the count. Fastball missed. The Cardinals have had one man get to second base. That was Matt Holliday, who doubled. Dodgers have had one man get to third. 3-0 to Molina. Right, 3-1. Benji struck out, popped up, hitting .256. Another strike. Chad had made 102 pitches in 7 innings. So he's up to 107. And popped up. Late start by Miles, looking for help now, and it's Ethier. And Ethier, blinded by the sun, overruns, throws to second, too late. So a tough play. Miles had a lot of trouble. You could tell as he was going out, he was looking for help. Ethier tried to help him and lost the ball. So you get a tough game like this, you look for a break, and there's a break. Pop fly that should have been caught lands just behind Ethier. It will go as a double. And as soon as that ball went up in the air, oh, in fact, check me on that. They're going to give Ethier an error. Okay. E9. So Descalso followed by John Jay, a left-hand hitter. For Andre Ethier, tough play. That would be his first error of the year. 0-1. Descalso grounded to first, flied to center. Tony has him swinging, not bunting. No balls and 1 strike. 8th inning, no score. Dodgers have Uribe on the grass. Loney is up a little. Descalso has not shown bunt. 0-1. This late in the game, if they get the bunt down and get Molina to third, the Dodgers then have to play the infield up. So they have him show bunt. Anytime you play the infield up, that's a great advantage to the hitter. Well, let's see if they want Descalso to get the bunt down. He's hitting .250. Light breeze blowing to right field. Shows bunt, gets it down. Good bunt. Brought Uribe in. So on the sacrifice, it figured that LaRussa would do that. With a runner at third and 1 out, John Jay will be coming up. And hands of 5 going in favor of Daniel Descalso. Jay appeared last night as a pinch hitter and hit into a double play. He finished up defensively for Berkman in another game. And he appeared as a pinch hitter and lined out So we've seen a little bit of John Jay. Meanwhile, Chris Carpenter now sitting back and thinking one run would go into my book, and I have a shot at picking up a win. Dodgers, meanwhile, have a meeting with Rick Honeycutt, the chairman out there. You have to figure they will play the infield up with a runner at third and one out. John Jay is hitting .235. He has a home run and one run batted in. So Carpenter comes out and Billingsley on the spot. John Jay out of Miami went to the University of Miami. Turned 26 the middle of March. He is the busiest hitter that we've seen this year. If you watch him, the bat and then the hands are forever going around and dropping them like a hitch. And he takes a strike. Yet, with all of the movement, which is certainly not directed, he hit .300 last year with 4 home runs. But boy, he is busy. 0-1. And outside corner, strike 2. Jay has been a professional for a little more than 5 years. At third base, Yadier Molina. The infield halfway, not completely up. 0-2. Ball 1. One and two. Well, with all that movement, boy, it is hard to stay focused. So Jay strikes out, and the batter now will be Ryan Theriot, going after a breaking ball in the dirt. That's 11 strikeouts for Chad Billingsley. Molina at third with 2 out, and now Theriot grounded to short twice, struck out, 0 for 3. Ball 1. To repeat, Billingsley is due to lead off in the 8th inning. Then it would be Gwynn and Carroll against right-hander Mitchell Bonds. Tiebreaker at third in Molina, no score in the 8th, 2 out. That's a strike. Billingsley has struck out 11, walked 2. Right on the money. And that's going to be hit into the flare. Here comes Ethier. Pick it off. So the Dodgers get out of the jam in the 8th inning. And at the end at 7.5, no score. Today he is 0 for 3, but the day before he was on fire. As we put the freeze cam on him, he hit a home run in the second inning, deep to right field. Came back up again in the fourth inning and connected again, reaching the pavilion. Well, Lance Berkman with a half a dozen home runs, but today 0 for 3. He is due to bat fourth when the Cardinals bat in the ninth inning. Ivan De Jesus will now come up and hit for Billingsley against Mitchell Boggs. Tremendous effort by Billingsley, 118 pitches. He struck out 11, and nothing to show for it unless the Dodgers come up with something here. Fouled away. And how good is Chris Carpenter against the Dodgers? He's 6-0. He's made 3 starts where he was not involved in the decision. And why? In one of those 3 starts, the Cardinals got 1 run. And in the other 2 starts, the Cardinals were shut out. So he was as good as ever and then some. 1-1. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Jonathan Broxton begins to loosen up. De Jesus picked up his first major league hit, hitting 100. High strike, 1-2. For the first time in this series, the Dodgers have been able to keep the Birds on the ground. Remember, we told you they were doing so well with runners in scoring position in the series. Line drive. Oh, what a play by Descalso to take a base hit away from Ivan De Jesus. Big play. So Descalso, who played third base the other night, now makes a dazzler at second, fully extended, and spears it. Talking about the Cardinal offense, first 3 games they were hitting .415 with runners in scoring position, and today they are 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. So Boggs is saved on the line drive. Gwynn grounded to second, reached on an error, grounded to short. Hit to center, but right into Colby Rasmus' glove. 2 down, 8th inning. And Jamie Carroll the batter.
Number 14.
When the Cardinals come up in the 9th inning, Colby Rasmus, Albert Pujols, and Matt Holliday against Jonathan Broxton. Fouled away. Jamie Carroll grounded to short, singled off Pujols' glove, and grounded to second. Though Jamie is 1 for 3, hitting .346. In there. No balls, 2 strikes. Mitchell Boggs. Big guy coming out of the pen for the second time in the series. He's out of Dalton, Georgia. Little ground ball to Descalso. Makes the play to Pujols. So the Dodgers go quietly in the 8th. And here they come in the 9th inning. Rasmus, Pujols, and Holliday, no score. Has three big hitters coming up in the ninth inning. The middle hitter will be the big first baseman, Albert Pujols. So just to give you something to think about, let's look at Broxton's work against those hitters. Rasmus is 1 for 1 against him. Pujols is hitting just 154. He's 2 for 13. Holiday is 4 for 18, a 222 batting average. So he has held all three of these big Cardinal hitters very quietly in the past. For Jonathan, remember, absolutely brilliant before the All-Star game last year, at an ERA of 2.1. After the All-Star game, his earned run average ballooned to 7. So here is Rasmus, 0 for 3, struck out twice. 0-1. Magnificent effort for Chad Billingsley, 118 pitches, went 8 innings, no runs, 2 hits, walked 2, struck out 11. 0-1 to Colby Rasmus. Away. John in the middle 90s. Rasmus hitting .369. One and two. Rasmus coming into this game had struck out 11 times, and he's been nailed twice today. Broxton now trying to put him away with Pujols on deck. Little low, 2-2 the count. For Jonathan Broxton, he's in his 7th game. ERA a little less than 3.5. He's allowed 2 earned runs in 5 1/3 innings. 2-2. And so Colby Rasmus strikes out 3 times today. 12 Cardinals have struck out, and we have 1 out in the 9th inning. And Albert Pujols coming up. Well, he just threw that thing right by Rasmus, 1 away. Albert Pujols flied to right, grounded to third, grounded to second, 0-for-3. Albert hitting .242. Foul tip. This is a classic confrontation. Big pitcher facing a big hitter. So far, Broxton holding the edge. Pujols 2 for 13, and he started him with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Just off the plate. 1-1. Broxton is 6'4", and somewhere in the neighborhood of 300. Right-handers last year hit .292 against him with 4 home runs. 1-1. Ball 2. Broxton with his fastball that's been clocked up to 98. He actually reached 100 on occasion. He has a 2-seamer, a sinker that he can get up to about 95. Slider, curveball, changeup. 2-1 to Pujols. And ball 3. And looking at Broxton this early in the year, in 5 2/3 innings, he has walked 2. On deck, Matt Holliday. 1 out in the 9th inning, no score. 3-1 to Albert. And a line drive right at Jamie Carroll. So Pujols lined to short. 2 down in the 9th inning. Take a look at the pitches to Albert Pujols. First pitch, a lot of heat. Then the slider. Then the pitch up and in. Back with another fastball up and in. Then the slider. And that line drive right at Jamie Carroll. So 2 out in the 9th inning. No score. And here's Matt Holliday. Doubled, walked, single allowed. He has the only 2 hits for the Cardinals. And ball 1. To repeat, Holliday going head-to-head with Broxton is 4 for 18. That would be a .222 batting average. Hitting .424 is Matt. 1-0. One and one. Breaking ball at 87. No runs, 2 hits for the Cardinals. No runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. The Dodgers will have the middle of the lineup coming up in the bottom of the 9th. That would be Andre Ethier, Matt Kemp, and Juan Uribe. One and one to Holliday. And he slices that into right center. Kemp will have to go to the wall to get it. Holliday moving around first and jogs into second with a stand-up double. So Matt Holliday continues to read the Dodger book. I mean, he just wears them out. His career batting average is about .350 against the Dodgers, and he comes up with a perfect day. He doubled in the 2nd inning. He walked in the 4th. He singled in the 7th, and he doubles in the 9th. The Holliday 3 for 3, and now Lance Berkman trying to pick him up. Well, let's see about Berkman and Broxton. Berkman 1 for 3 in the past, and they're going to put him aboard, take their chances with David Freese, who has struck out all 3 at-bats. So no reason to pitch to Lance Berkman. And in a moment, 2 on, 2 out, 9th inning, no score. Holliday, who had that monumental home run, a memorable home run, clearing the back wall of the Dodger bullpen a couple of years ago with Colorado. Today, wisely going the other way twice. A double down the line to right and a double to the gap in right center. He did have a single to left. So Matt, a thorn in the Dodgers side for sure. And now David Freese. Anyone who has played this game understands the mental attitude of David Freese. Playing third, he struck out in the 2nd inning. He struck out in the 5th inning. And he struck out in the 7th inning. Broxton doesn't really care how he gets him. He just want to get him. David out of Corpus Christi, Texas. Went to school at the University of South Alabama. He was a catcher in high school. And he first came up to the Cardinals 2 years ago. And a little flare into shallow right field, base hit. Wouldn't you know, a pop fly single to right. That scores Holliday. And the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead. So Freese, who had not managed to hit the ball today, just drops one in there to right field. Holliday comes in to score, and the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead. That pop fly was on a pitch coming to the plate at 95 miles an hour. So now the batter will be Yadier Molina. Struck out, popped up, reached on an error. And Holliday every time you look up, Matt has done something to beat the Dodgers, and it looked like this might be his day again. Molina is 2 for 4 against Broxton, and he comes up with Berkman at third and Freese at first. Oh, and 1. So a 2-out double by Holiday after, remember, Pujols hit a bullet but right at Jamie Carroll. And then the walk and then the pop fly single. The 1 run, 4 hits for the Cardinals. No runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 2 out. And that's slapped into shallow right field, and that one is caught by Aaron Miles. Big play by the second baseman, but it comes after the ball that dropped in. And we're heading for the bottom of the 9th inning after taking a second look at Aaron Miles' catch that saved a run. It's 1-0 St. Louis. A 2-out double by Matt Holliday, a pop fly single by David Freese. The Cardinals break through, take a 1-0 lead in the 9th inning. The Dodgers will have Ethier, Kemp, and Uribe. Holliday, as usual, figures in the game prominently. And Trevor Miller, a left-hander out of Louisville, Kentucky, will pick up the pitching. Trevor will be 38 in May. And Ethier hits one down the right field line. In there for the base hit. Berkman over to chase it. And Andre into second base with nobody out. So Ethier puts the tying run at second and also extends his hitting streak to 14.
Now batting center fielder number 27, Matt Hill.
So the principals have nothing to do with it. Billingsley and Carpenter. Boggs has nothing to do with it. It is now Broxton and Miller, but let's see about Miller. Tony going out. He's had his closer, Ryan Franklin, up in the pen. Because of the one-sided games, we haven't seen Franklin, but we're going to see him now as Miller makes one pitch and Ethier doubles. And we'll be back. nobody out. The Dodgers have Andre Ethier at second base. We saw Ryan Franklin in the first game of the series, and he allowed a run. How did he allow the run? He gave up a home run to Matt Kemp, who will be the first man coming up with Ethier at second base. Ryan Franklin out of Shawnee, Oklahoma, and Fort Smith, Arkansas, 6'3", 190. He turned 28 in March. He's been with the Cardinals since 07, with the Phillies briefly and the Mariners for quite a few years. Originally drafted by the Mariners. So the Dodgers, struggling all series long, have the right combination here, and ball one. On deck, you have Juan Uribe and then James Loney. So the question with Franklin, is he going to even try to throw a strike to Kemp, or will he throw sliders down and away or whatever, and if he has to, walk him? Kemp and Ethier are the only two Dodgers successful with runners in scoring position. That's a strike, 1-1. Combined, Ethier and Kemp are hitting .441. The rest of the Dodgers this year, .088. So statistically, this is their best chance with Ethier at second and Kemp at the plate. 1-1. Fastball, 1-2. Let's take a look at Franklin. Kemp was 1 for 3, hit the home run, so he's 2 for 4 against him. Juan Uribe, 2 for 10. James Loney, 1 for 8. 1-0 Cardinals, 9th inning. Ethier the tying run at second. Nobody out. Just off the plate with the fastball. Franklin, when he pitched the 9th inning of the 9-5 victory, got Ethier on a ground ball, gave up a home run to Kemp, got Uribe on a ground ball, and Loney on a ground ball. 2-2 the count. Fastball and a high drive into center. Back goes Rasmus, away back. They pitch to the one guy who could beat them, and he does. So Matt Kemp is 2 for 2 home runs against Ryan Franklin. Boy, he is a team picture. Wow. The Cardinals are absolutely stunned. 27,439 saw a great pitching duel. The Cardinals get a run in the 9th inning, and Matt Kemp, they dared to pitch to him with all of the hitters struggling behind him, and Matt hits it out. His second home run against Ryan Franklin, and for Matt Kemp, he now has 3 home runs, 12 runs batted in, and that had to really be a killer as far as the Cardinals are concerned. For the Dodgers, they avoid the stigma because it was not until you went deep in the record books, 1968, the last time the Cardinals swept a 4-game series here. And for the Dodgers, it was not to be. They pulled it out. For Kemp, his second career walk-off home run. So the Dodgers, what a finish. Turn it around 2-1. Stay tuned for Dodger Live coming up next.